Hey, this is Yunus, and in this quick lesson, I want to cover different variables besides integer. So the first variable that we're going to cover is going to be double. We declare double by writing double, and we give it a name. So let's name it just a number. So what is double? Integer and double, they're different. Integer can store only whole numbers. That means integer can store only 1, 2, 200, -100 whole numbers. Double type can hold decimal numbers. For example, 1.5, 0.0009. And let's initialize our double to 0.005. And let's display that on the screen. Number. Let's build around this program and see what happens. So if we build around this, it displays 0.005. And let's compare, let's initialize our integer number 2 to the same value, and let's see what happens if we do that. First we'll display double value, then we'll display integer which was assigned the same value. As you can see, if we build and run this, since integer can hold only whole numbers, it just rounded the answer to 0. Another thing to notice is that when we perform mathematical operation, you can divide double by any number like 12.7, and let's see what happens. So if we do that, it still gives us decimal number. So here's the thing: when we divide the double by any number, it always will be the number with a decimal point. But in comparison, if we divide integer number, for example, let's assign integer 2 equals 10, and let's divide that variable by 3 divided by 3, and let's display that variable as well. So if we do that, so the answer for the integer type, we get some decimal value, and the compiler rounds that number to the whole number. Another thing you can do is we can divide double by integer type number 2. So this means 0.005 divided by 10. Let's see what happens if we do that. As you can see, the result is 0.0005. Every time when we store some number in double, and every time when we divide double number by integer, it always will be number with decimal point. In contrast with integer, where when you divide, it will always round the number. Another type of variable that is very close to double is type float. So you just write float, and we'll give it a name. We'll call it number again, and we'll initialize it 1.5. The only difference between float and double, they both can store decimal numbers. The only difference is double is 2 times more precise. That means when you do calculation, double will be way more precise. You will get precision like to the smallest digit. But at the same time, double takes more memory space. And other types are, all of them are integers. So the first one is short. then we have long, then we have long. Of course we have to name these variables as well. We'll name this one number 1, this one number 2, and this one number 3. So short is the integer type. Difference between short and integer is that short it takes less memory space, but at the same time you cannot store big numbers in it. Long is the same thing, but it's bigger than integer. That means you can store numbers that means you can store bigger numbers. And long is a new addition to C++ that came from C++ 11 update. This integer type, you can store huge numbers in it in comparison with int type. Mathematical operations on all of them are pretty much the same. So we covered type double, float, short, long, and long. In the next tutorial, we're gonna cover type char, which means character. Thank you for watching.